for your research. And I've got the 4 categories up there. So most of you should have an idea in a big picture sense of what you want to do on your topics. Today, the goal is to get 2 primary source documents for your research. And these could be photographs, they could be speeches, they could be
diary entries, songs, poems,
art pieces. Yeah, so you've got a really wide sweep of choices. So I'm going to just go through some of our resources that you have here at school. And I'm going to start actually back on the right side. So when you first go to our library catalog, you can just put in whatever your topic du jour. And I'm going to put in Chinese immigration. Is anyone doing that? No. But they might after this. And right on top, the unwelcome immigrant, the American image of Chinese, 1785 to 1882. And then if you had this resource, you could also probably use the Chinese Exclusion Act, which you can get off of the LOC or any of those places. You can go to the web path, see this link right here? Then that'll take you to vetted websites, so we could do Chinese immigration. And what do we get? Oh, and here on sources, click primary sources. And great, right on top, you've got Chinese Exclusion Act, Angel Island Poetry, more Chinese Exclusion Act. Canada in the making, that's interesting because the Canadian Constitution and a lot of the Chinese people there after 1817. Okay, our next thing after the catalog would be go to the online student resources. And we go there, and on the top we've got the images, but below here we've got the titles. And I would go to the social studies area, and then the, let's see, magazines and newspapers. And did this class use ProQuest History Study Guide for their last? So down here, the History Study Guide, if you click on it, and let's pick a different topic this time. Let's go to study units, and if my keywords here are, how about artist, New York. And here we've got 4 different topics, and let's look at like American the movies, that might be interesting. And then you've got a whole section here on the left with primary sources. So you see how that worked there? Right there, primary sources, and you get a whole list of possible resources for that topic on American in cinema during that time. So that's ProQuest, and the databases, the login for the database is student SPS, and the password is access. That's 24/7. So you could do this at home, 3 in the morning. Not that you're going to. Facts on file, issues and controversies. So if you're going to look at one of those things, like here is the in American history, issues and controversies, you could take a controversial topic, and what are we looking at, about this section maybe? And here, like the Panama Canal. Did President Roosevelt steal the canal? Oh, you could argue that. You could decide. You could decide that you would argue that the canal belonged to Panama, and the French stole it first, and then America or the United States, and Panama's never had it. So you could argue that. Here's another one here on the meat packing industry. This would be, I think, in the Midwest, Chicago, someplace like that. And you could talk about the food industry and all the labor rights or things like that with your topic. So that's on Facts on File. Those are issues and controversies. That's how they show that one. Another one that I want to show you is, let's go here. On my website, we've got a Gale Virtual Reference Library, and when you go through the library website, the password is RAMs. These are all PDFs. So if your topic is, somebody give me one, how about Harlem Renaissance? I spelling it right? Your prep. I know. My password, our time has run out. I might have to re-log in. No, there it is. Well, I'm not going to waste your time to re-log into that. Another place that we often use for resources is the Library of Congress. And here, let me go back to the very beginning so you can see what the front image looks like. That is loc.gov, Library of Congress. And usually what I would do is, well, you've got your topics here on the right side, but I would just click on education. And then you see the third one down here, primary source sets. You've already got your whole chunk of primary sources listed right in these topics. And these are in big chunks, so you'd be able to pick whatever you want here. You know, like Civil War music, the Dust Bowl, found poetry. I think we were looking at that with one student, Emily Dickinson, and poetry at the Amherst Museum in Massachusetts. And Harlem Renaissance, Industrial Revolution. So you could go into these and get, let's go deep in one. There's Jim Crow. Does anybody see one that they are already picked out? No. Here's Harlem Renaissance. Let's go in. So in here we've got music, art. Here's the WPA. That's great. And it looks like Jacob Lawrence artwork. And, well, actually it says Philip Lawrence. And screen art. And you can use art as a primary source to inform your audience on what the society was like at that time. So Library of Congress is a great resource. And then how many of you used Gilder Lehrman? Did anybody use that with our last paper? The Gilder Lehrman, well actually I'm going to show you this one too. National History Day. Some schools do National History. These are by topic. Famous trials, famous speeches, things like that. So if you know what you're looking for that way. And see how the topics are colonial, military, African American, Civil War. Gilder Lehrman, they have primary source documents, and they're by era also. Over on my right there are the carts, and on the beige cart I've got chronological books. So if you know your person or issue is like 1865 or something like that, you could go right into Annals of America or American Decade books and find other primary source documents that are happening at that time. The red card has labor issues and I believe Latin American. So here's the Gilder Lehrman Institute of American History, and on this one right here, look, primary source, and they do theirs by era. So if we go into the primary sources, and you could pick any era, and so our time period covers 3 of their eras. We've got the Civil War and Reconstruction, Rise of Industrial America, and the Progressive Era. So we could pick one of these, the Progressive Era, and we could put in a theme of, let's say, women, and we'll apply that. And then we get these 1, 2, 3, 5 items that are their primary source documents for women during the Progressive Era. I've got a lot of stuff here on Triangle Shirtwaist Factory File. Cornell has that. And anyway, do not get stuck. Those are all great ideas. So if you forget passwords, come find me. We'll make sure you have passwords. Any questions on primary sources? Yes, sir.
It's kind of blurry. I can't quite read. What's this website?
This one is Gilder Lehrman.
It's linked on your page, or do you have to Google that one?
I think you might have to. I can link it. I can definitely link it. I can put it on there, but I don't think it's on my webpage right now. But I can. You do need to create an account to use the Gilder Lehrman Institute, and that's not hard. It's easy to do. Okay.
Someone's going to ask,
Yes?
how did you get to this point. Even though you already did it once.
How did I get to?
Yeah, could you go back to the start page?
Absolutely. And that's way back here, well, right here at the web page, school web page, and you're going to click on library. And then they're all right there. Okay?
Okay,
That's all I got.
that's all I got. You were going to say one more thing. You said after she talks, 5 minutes.
So one thing that we have been adding to, am I being videotaped?
Probably.
I'll be appropriate.
But I'll cut you off.